Hi folks, welcome back. Our next writing lesson for advanced composition, writing 3037, we're going to talk about the bookends of your essays, your introduction and your conclusion. Now these are things you've been writing since you very first learned how to write. And so in some ways, there's not a lot new that I want to add as advanced in terms of a composition. You can continue to write your introductions where you kind of go from general to specific. Make sure you finish with your thesis statement. That's going to be about an average introduction. It's going to function for your essay, introduce your topic, talk a little bit about it, and then hit your thesis. It's not going to wow your audience. And what I want you to push for in this case are going to be opening paragraphs, introductions, and concluding paragraphs, conclusions that really catch your reader's attention and then tell them where else you want to go with the essay. So here's some techniques that you can do for your introductions and then again at the end for your conclusions that will help you do that. You want to use your introduction as a way to draw your readers into your essay, into the world of your topic. And so some ways you want to try to do this. Maybe start with a statistic or a direct quote from an expert, something that grabs their attention and brings them into the essay. Perhaps you want to use an anecdote. It can be a personal anecdote in first person if it's on the first essay, our advertising analysis, or our final essay, our call for papers essay. Do remember though that the claim of values cannot be first person. That must be in third person. So if you decide to use an anecdote, it needs to be packaged in terms of another person's story. An anecdote for illustration catches your reader's attention and gives them something to compare, to talk about for your topic. Additionally, you might want to give some historical background. If it's a controversial topic, give some history of that controversy. If it's a historical related topic, give some of the history of that issue, of that debate. Finally, you also may want to use techniques like interrogative questions. Those questions are going to leave your reader thinking, what do I think about this topic? And then you supply the answer for that reader. Tell them what to think so they're not left too long. Make it active for them, bring them in, make them engage with statistics that they can think more about, direct quotes, personal anecdotes, and then finally perhaps some questions. Now, remember, of course, your introductions need to always finish with your thesis statement. That is the most important part. So the rest of the introduction, coming from general to specific, as long as it culminates in a powerful thesis statement, you're going to still be in good shape. Now, talk about the way you want to end your essay. Most conclusions and most writing teachers will teach conclusions as a way where you just restate your introduction a little bit, kind of shift around your thesis somewhat, and then that's it. Put a bow on it, turn it in, and you're done. I want you to push for a little bit more with your conclusions. I want you to try to give your reader something else to think about, add to the complexity of them. It's not enough just to say, and I'm finished, here, take your essay. What you want to do is you want to, one, again, come back to that anecdote. If you started with a story for illustration, you want to finish with something that brings your readers back to that story for closure. Maybe another statistic or a direct quote from an expert. The conclusion is the only paragraph that can end with a quote. In this case, maybe sort of a little fortune cookie saying that you want your readers to think more about as they leave your essay. You also want to do something perhaps like calling for further research or calling for action on that topic. Giving your readers something further to think about. What more can be done, or predictions do you present that might happen if your argument, your persuasion, your side of the debate doesn't actually win the discussion? So let's conclude. We want to talk about introductions and introductions and conclusions. Introductions need to do something a little bit more than just generalize your topic and give a thesis. Bring your reader into your essay with a nice attention getter. Your conclusions, again, want to do a little bit more than restate your introduction and restate your thesis and then exit. You want to give your reader something else to think about. Where do you want them to go from here? What is needed from here? What more do you want them to consider? Okay, again, basic introduction and conclusion is going to get a basic grade, but if you do a little bit something more, that's going to push for that B+, that A minus. Blackboard, I'll have some examples of what I mean by each of these techniques for introductions and conclusions. Please go onto there and double check so that you can know exactly what I'm talking about and how you might use those in your own work. Thanks again. See you soon.